Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to my class. I am your Kavita Miss from Ideal School. Okay, students, in previous video we learned the lesson A Tiger in the House Part 1. In this session we will learn the lesson A Tiger in the House Part 2. Okay, without wasting our time, let's move on the lesson. Okay, students, just concentrate on fifth paragraph. Now I will read the lesson. All of you follow me. He was by this time the size of a full grown retriever, and when I took him out for walks, people on the road would give us a wide berth. When he pulled hard on his chain, I had difficulty in keeping up with him. His favorite place in the house was the drawing room, and he would make himself comfortable on the long sofa, reclining there with great dignity and snarling at anybody who tried to get him off. Okay, students, now our Timothy was fully grown. Whenever our author Ruskin Bond took him out for walks, at the time who walked on the road, they would give wide berth. That means they stayed a distance away from author and Timothy. And our Timothy's favorite place was the drawing room on the long sofa. If anybody tried to get him off means he would started to play some funny games in drawing room. Let's move on next paragraph. Next paragraph. Timothy had clean habits and would scrub his face with his paws exactly like a cat. He slept at night in the cook's quarters and was always delighted at being let out by him in the morning. Okay, students, our Timothy had one clean habit. Do you know, students, how cats scrub his face with his paws? Exactly like a cat, our Timothy also scrub his face with his paws. Okay, understood, students? And our Timothy always slept at night in the cook's Mahmoud's quarters. Okay, let's move on next paragraph. One of these days, declared grandmother in her prophetic manner, we are going to find Timothy sitting on Mahmoud's bed and no sign of the cook except his clothes and shoes. Okay, one of these days, said grandmother in a prophetic manner. Prophetic manner means saying something in advance. Okay, so grandmother said something to the family members. Okay, what she said? She said, we are going to find Timothy sitting on Mahmoud's bed and no sign of the cook except his clothes and shoes. Okay, but this time nobody taken seriously this grandmother's words. Of course, it never came to that, but when Timothy was about 6 months old, a change came over him. He grew steadily less friendly. When out for a walk with me, he would try to steal away to stalk a cat or someone's pet Pekingese. Sometimes at night, we would hear frenzied cackling from the poultry house, and in the morning there would be feathers lying all over the veranda. Timothy had to be chained up more often, and finally, when he began to stalk Mahmoud about the house with that look like villainous intent, grandfather decided it was time to transfer him to a zoo. When Timothy was 6 months old, he started to growing less friendly and more dangerous. Okay. When our author Ruskin Bond took out for a walk to Timothy, at that time he would try to steal cat and someone's pet animals. Okay, sometimes here our author's family also would hear a frenzied means disturbing sound from the poultry house. Poultry house means chicken's coop. Okay, and in the morning there would be feathers lying all over the veranda. That means here Timothy every night it was killing the chickens and it was eating the chickens. Okay, so at lastly grandfather decided to transfer Timothy to a zoo. Okay, next paragraph. The nearest zoo was at Lucknow, 200 miles away. Reserving a first-class compartment for himself and Timothy, no one would share a compartment with them. Grandfather took him to Lucknow, where the zoo authorities were only too glad to receive as a gift a well-fed and fairly civilized tiger. Here, grandfather took Timothy to Lucknow in a special reserved compartment. Let's move on next paragraph. About 6 months later, when my grandparents were visiting relatives in Lucknow, grandfather took the opportunity of calling at the zoo to see how Timothy was getting on. I was not there to accompany him, but I heard all about it when he returned to Dehra. Arriving at the zoo, grandfather made straight for the particular cage in which Timothy had been interned. The tiger was there, crouched in a corner, full grown and with a magnificent striped coat. Okay, after 6 months later, when grandfather was visiting relatives in Lucknow, he also went to the zoo to see Timothy. At the zoo, he went to his cage. Okay, this Timothy was fully grown. But at that time, our author Ruskin Bond was not there. But he heard all about it when he returned to Dehra. Now, grandfather went to his cage and he saw a tiger in a corner. Let's move on 12th paragraph. The tiger approached the bars and allowed grandfather to put both hands around his head. Grandfather stroked the tiger's forehead and tickled his ear, and whenever he growled, smacked him across the mouth, which was his old way of keeping him quiet. Grandfather went to his cage. At that time he saw Timothy. Timothy was fully grown. So grandfather stroked his forehead and tickled his ears. And our author growled, smacked him across the mouth. That means growl means make a loud guttural sound in the throat. Okay, he made like that kind of sound to keeping him quiet. Okay, next paragraph. He licked grandfather's hands and only sprang away when a leopard in the next cage snarled at him. Grandfather shooed the leopard away and the tiger returned to lick his hands, but every now and then the leopard would rush at the bars and the tiger would slink back to his corner. A number of people had gathered to watch the reunion when a keeper pushed his way through the crowd and asked grandfather what he was doing. Now Timothy licked grandfather's hand and only Timothy sprang away when a leopard next door snarled at him. So grandfather would shoot away the leopard. It happened many times there. Okay, have you seen the picture of a leopard? I'll show you. Wait. Look students, this is the picture of leopard. Okay, move on lesson. In that zoo, the leopard was disturbing to Timothy. At that time, a number of people had gathered to watch grandfather's and Timothy's some activities, and a keeper came there and he asked to grandfather what he was doing there. He asked. Now grandfather replied to him, "I am talking to Timothy," said grandfather. "Weren't you here when I gave him to the zoo 6 months ago?" "I haven't been here very long," said the surprised keeper. "Please continue your conversation, but I have never been able to touch him myself. He is always very bad-tempered." "Why don't you put him somewhere else?" suggested grandfather. "That leopard keeps frightening him. I'll go and see the superintendent about it." Grandfather told the zookeeper to change Timothy's cage because the leopard frightened the Timothy. That's why. The grandfather then went in search of the superintendent to complain about this matter. Let's move on next paragraph. Grandfather went in search of the superintendent of the zoo but found that he had gone home early. And so, after wandering about the zoo for a little while, he returned to Timothy's cage to say goodbye. It was beginning to get dark. Grandfather went in search of the superintendent of the zoo, but grandfather found that he had gone home early. So, grandfather came back to Timothy's cage to say goodbye. Okay. He had been stroking and slapping Timothy for about 5 minutes when he found another keeper observing him with some alarm. Grandfather recognized him as the keeper who had been there when Timothy had first come to the zoo. You remember me? Said grandfather. Now, why don't you transfer Timothy to another cage away from the stupid leopard? But sir, stammered the keeper, it is not your tiger. I know, said grandfather testily. I realized he is no longer mine. But you might at least take a suggestion or two from me. When another keeper came there, at the time grandfather recognized him, that keeper who had been there when Timothy had first come to the zoo, and he said to the keeper that, why don't you transfer Timothy in another cage? He asked, and this keeper replied to grandfather that he is not your tiger. He replied to the grandfather. Okay, let's move on next paragraph. I remember your tiger very well, said the keeper. He died 2 months ago. Died? Exclaimed grandfather. Yes, sir, of pneumonia. This tiger was trapped in the hills only last month, and he is very dangerous. That zookeeper said to the grandfather that, I remember your tiger very well. He died 2 months ago, said the keeper. Now, grandfather shocked. Died? He asked to keeper, and this keeper replied to the grandfather that, yes sir, of pneumonia he died, he said. But this tiger is very dangerous, and this tiger was caught in the hill last month, he said to the grandfather. Concentrate on last paragraph. Grandfather could think of nothing to say. The tiger was still licking his arm with increasing relish. Grandfather took what seemed to him an age to withdraw his hand from the cage. With his face near the tiger's, he mumbled, Good night, Timothy, and giving the keeper a scornful look, walked briskly out of the zoo. Okay, students, that zookeeper said to the grandfather that his Timothy was died 2 months ago. But here our author's grandfather did not accepting the death of Timothy. But that keeper also didn't say lie, no students. But this tiger also very friendly with the grandfather, like a Timothy. That's why he was not ready to accept the death of Timothy. Students, this is showing that how our author's grandfather was loving the animals and how he was caring the animals very much. Okay, at last also he didn't accept that keeper's words, and he left that place saying good night to the Timothy. Understood, students? I hope students you all understood our first lesson, A Tiger in the House part 1 and part 2. I'll meet you in the next session. Okay, students? Thank you, my dear students. Have a nice day. Be safe in home. Thank you so much. Bye.